Very
Very good evening, everyone. Let me welcome all the contestants for the executive committee members' positions. As all of you would know, first of all, good evening, everyone. While we are in India, we don't know who is going to watch this session from where. So it is equally relevant that I should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Having said this, this session is quite important for everyone. As much as it is important for the contestants, it is also important for the voters, and voters are our own alumni. This is your opportunity for the contestants to express your ideas and thoughts as to what exactly and why exactly you feel that you have what it is required to represent this 58,000 alumni, and what kind of ideas, thoughts you would like to share with them to convince them about your candidature. First of all, this is a friendly contest because we are all contesting amongst the alumni, and as far as making contribution to the association is concerned, it is open to everyone. So becoming executive committee member is not a prerequisite for anyone to participate in the action and making contribution. Nevertheless, we are a democratic setup. We elect our 7 new executive members every year. And therefore, I would request the voters also to pay close attention to each contestant and listen to his or her ideas. If you have any observations, remarks, or queries for a particular contestant, please write in the chat box. At the end of the contestant's thoughts, after he has shared his thoughts with you, we will try to take up the question answer session. And please remain focused on the association activities and the contribution of the possible contribution of the candidate. So I would request everyone not to write any frivolous remarks about anybody. No irresponsible remark in the chat session about anyone saying anything. And let's have a slightly disciplined session. So with this request to all of you, we have 6 contestants who would express their thoughts today. And we will start with the senior-most aspirant first. And we are privileged to have Mr. Sudeep Rikhi. And I would say Rikhi ji is almost say 6 years senior to me too. Rikhi ji is from 1978 batch. And I leave the floor open for Rikhi ji. I request everybody else to be on mute so we can hear Rikhi ji and his ideas. Welcome, sir. Rikhi ji, floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm not sure I graduated in 78, but I joined IIT in 73. So it's 50 years since I entered those hallowed grounds of IIT as a 16-year-old boy. And 5 years later, I think I emerged as a young man, confident with all the tools and the interactions with my fellow alumni. IIT changed me forever. There's no doubt about that. I was a mechanical engineer, did that for a year, but really spent most of my 50 years in software and in business. I went to the Wharton School on a Rotary International Scholarship and spent about most of my career in Silicon Valley, climbing up the corporate ladder to go to become the chief information officer for a Fortune 500 company. And felt earlier I'd also spent a great deal of time in finance after Wharton. I think the highlight of my career certainly was my turn in entrepreneurship. I was the founder of 2 companies, Aristosoft and 5x5 Networks, that together raised $150 million from the best venture capitalists on Sandal Road. And it taught me a lot. For a son of a government civil servant with a little PowerPoint presentation and a whole lot of imagined confidence, I was able to convince them to invest in basically my word. And and what I found exhilarating was the journey that led to the product development, hiring of the team, being a part of the board of directors of both Aristosoft and 5x5 Networks. And it was, building a business is a very tough thing. But I learned a lot, and I've given back in mentorship to other people who have sought me out in terms of feedback to the business plans, etc. I think what I want to bring to the IIT Executive Council are 2-3 personal characteristics. I think I can work together with people. I have done so across continents. I was at Seagate Technology and set up the first overseas development center that grew to 5,000 people from scratch. I was able to convince people to forget the stumbling English accent and be able to focus on the contribution that these people could make to their businesses. I've also, at IIT, I participated in a UNESCO conference in Japan, again, built bridges across geographies. And so I feel confident that I can remain in Silicon Valley, also visit India frequently as I do, to be able to participate effectively in the Executive Council. As far as goals of what I hope to accomplish in the Executive Council is that I first and foremost am very anguished about the number of suicides in the IIT campus. And I think my gray hair gives me some level of confidence that if I put my head down and try to help there, we can shore up the resources to stop this curse. Secondly, I firmly believe that entrepreneurship is not black magic. It is something that, in fact, can be taught. It can be taught to be rigorous about how you develop the business plan, how you develop a product, not just embellish it with everything that you possibly can think of, but to focus on the value that you can add for that. What is exactly the pain point that you can address? I think it's important for IITians because, at least when I was growing up, it was, you look to get a job with one of the big companies and it would be stable and it'd be set for life, so to speak. But entrepreneurship, especially in a country like India, with exploding opportunities, gives you the unique ability to contribute directly with your own skills, with your own ideas, and they just need to be nourished and water being brought to it. So the third thing that I'd like to try to see and accomplish is to try and highlight the role of R&D. So I think there is a number of Indian businesses that have continued to sell the same sorts of products that they have for a number of years successfully. But really, if we were to encourage people to set aside some of the goodwill that they get by way of revenue into R&D, then I think that could have a big impact. this is a behavioral pattern that must be set up early. And therefore, I think that, some sort of product management courses may also help, and I can see if how I can contribute to make that mainstream, so to speak. That is my pitch, and I hope that that some people would consider voting for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudeep ji. You have expressed some of the relevant ideas, and we'll take the questions right away, Sudeep ji, to maintain the continuity. And overall, I'll request everyone to ensure that you leave some time for question and answer. So here we go. Mr. Rajiv Malhotra wants to ask a question. Please go ahead, Rajiv.
Thank you, Kalpin. Thank you, Sudeep Rekhi. I'm also a batchmate of Kalpin at the 84 batch. So you're senior to us. You spoke very well. It's a privilege to have you on the platform. My question would apply to all the candidates. There are certain things which, when you're coming into the executive committee, you're coming in terms of trying to bring a sort of a regiment in terms of how we can't be the doers. We are probably the thinkers and the strategists. And you mentioned some of the ideas which talk about strategy, which we want to take forward as an executive member, which impacts all 58,000 people. My question is that what is your personal view on specifically is in terms of transparency? What is your view in terms of telecast of EC meetings, recordings to the alumni itself? Because in my view, I have tried to bring that transparency, but I failed because majority, we are democratic setup, and 10 odd people said, no, we should not share it. So I wanted your views. What do you think the EC meetings, for me, it serves two purposes. One, it maintains decorum, and it allows the alumni to see exactly what each person is doing and what his views are. What's your view on that, sir?
I'm not so. The answer is yes. I think that transparency is good, but I think that transparency is not good in terms of what each person can contribute, but together to get the sense of a discussion about what are the important things for people that are being talked about. I think that's very important. I think we're getting more of that in other spheres of public life in India. Take the Supreme Court, for example. They now have televised hearings, televised, maybe streamed hearings. The Parliament has that. Well, why not the IIT? I find no reason not to do it.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sanjeev, you want to ask a question?
Yes. Good evening. Thank you, Kalpenji, for giving this opportunity. I could not hear because I joined a little bit late. But first of all the best to Sudeep Rekhi, sir. And I think we need such kind of people in our EC. Sir, I have only one query, you can say, not the question, or you can say suggestion. See, in every system, there should be some system and process where somewhere we are not having what we understand. So how much you would like to contribute to make those things in the order that is some of the government rules like on finance or any other some system, it should be followed in EC also, because it is also a public money what we are going to spend, right? So I would like to listen your view on those things, system and process.
So as I shared with you, I have.
I am also one of the EC member currently, so that's why I asked you.
I see. Well, I can get your guidance as a rookie there, I guess, if I happen to get elected. But I think that, I'm a son of a civil servant. I understand the government very well. I think the resource limitations are significant. But it is also true that they are limited by our own imagination. At IIT, you can see that there are a number of named groups or named institutes. I don't know what the exact name of it is, but people have given donations to create centers of excellence. So there can be other things that can be uh, apart from government funds that can be made available. So the other thought I have for you is I spent a lot of years in finance, and much of finance is really about making sure that there is accountability of various kinds. There is a budgeting accountability. There's an accountability of um, of making sure that expenses are that you spend on what you said you would. And then there is the audit part of it. I've gone through the entire gamut, and public undertakings have their own systems in place. But I think that I'd be very happy if given the opportunity to be able to put my experience to good use.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sudeep ji.
Thank you,
I'm
thank
sure every system always has a scope for improvement, and maybe many of these suggestions would be welcome. And we will move over to the next contestant, Mr. Vasant Katal.
Thank you, and I'll put myself on mute.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Rekiji and Kalpen. All I can say is that, like Sudeep ji, I am also from mechanical engineering. I passed out in 1984, and I've been an outgoing person and participated in most events of the hostel. Played almost many games for the hostel, and that's how I became sports secretary of Aravali Hostel. And from second last position, we jumped to second position in that year. Being a go-getter and targeted-oriented person, I had the opportunity of being nominated as house secretary, and we definitely won the sports championship. So, this target orientation and being a go-getter helped me in achieving that. I also happen to be institute badminton captain, and I participate in various games like water polo, athletics, football, badminton, of course, because I was an institute captain also, and mind games like bridge, and even took part in dramatics for my hostel. So that's like a team player, and importance of teamwork and being a trusty team player comes in there. And the team player doesn't end there. I mean, I happened to be part of a group of 5 IITians who started this company way back in 1987 when startup word did not exist. We ran it very well for 20 plus years, and ran it fairly well, achieved some milestones and targets there with around 200 people working, and maximum turnover of 21 crores way back in 2005-6. Presently, I am just investing and mentoring in startups. So I have sufficient time in my hands to, spend time for the alumni association, and that's where I come in here to contribute a little bit to the alumni association and make it a little better. Uh, I think the last 2 3 years have seen some dynamism in the alumni growth, and things are looking up. And I would like to be able to contribute further into that. Idea is that we must have a total support system for alma mater, alumni, and the students who are also future alumni, by the way. And together we work with the faculty and ensure that we make a very good progress with the interaction amongst the group. There's a cohesive unit that we create so that we can all grow with the alumni association. I'm also looking at these regions, boundaries, batches. Let's get over with it. Let's create support system and strengthen all these chapters. So that we have IT engineers who are available today there is a guy in US wanting a co-founder or an engineer, it should be available. Or somebody wants a co-founder for his company, the pool of engineers that are available in IIT, we should be able to provide. We can also create significant interest groups for not just business. We can look at sports, culture. I mean, why can't we have some programs in the regional areas for sports like badminton, table tennis, or whatever? And we can have a grand finale at IIT Delhi. So the idea is to increase cohesion and discussion amongst all the groups, uh, that batches, so that we are interacting at a common cohesive unit. We have 58,000 alumni, 12,000 students, and 600 faculties. Of course, it should make sense to them. I mean, it should be with the wishes and interest of everyone that we go forward. I'm also keen to engage with the family members of the, so that they're also involved in off the and on the campus activities in that. So I look forward to your support, and I close my talk here. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Vasan. I think session is interesting to the extent that we are collecting ideas, and I'm happy to say that our president-elect is also present, Mr. Sanjay Jain. I hope you are taking notes. You are getting valuable tips from the candidates, so I'm sure it would probably be a nice eye-opener for everybody over a period of time. Anybody has any questions? Anybody wants to ask any question to Mr. Katal? Yes,
Vasant.
Mr. Sanjay Jain, please go ahead.
Yeah, Vasant, I would like to ask you one thing. Why you are so late in contesting this election?
Well, the idea is that we should be doing work when we have sufficient time. I mean, it's not about taking a post of executive committee. The more important thing is that you should have sufficient time, and you should be convinced about the activity and time you will be able to devote. I mean, there's no point just taking a post and doing nothing about it. So I was very clear that if I take up something, I'm going to be serious about it. Otherwise, I'll not take up the post.
Okay, thank you, Vasant. Thank you.
Anybody wants to ask anything? I would say as long as the contestants also maintain the dignity of the session, you are also free to ask the other contestants if you want to ask something. Anybody? I don't see any questions. Satish, by any chance, are you receiving any questions?
So no, in the
Okay. Okay, so it looks like that candidates are having a good run. Okay, thanks, Vasan. Appreciate all your ideas and thoughts. And let me now invite Professor Pawan Kumar Kudriya. We are going in the chronological order. Maybe Dr. Yadav could be very senior age-wise, but since Professor Pawan Kumar Kudriya is earlier graduate, Professor Kudriya, it is your turn to express your thoughts. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And good evening and namaskar to all the alumni. So about myself, I have done MTech in solid state material in year 2002. And I was in Nilgiri hostel, and then just after MTech, I joined industry as an engineer in Mozarvia India Limited. And I was there for about 6 months, and then I decided like that if I can switch to some research area, then I can do better. So that way, I joined a R&D lab, that is Nuclear Science Center at that time, and presently it is Inter-University Accelerator Center. So I was there for about 17 years, and in between, I decided to do the PhD. So again, I revisited IIT Delhi, and from 2009 to 2013, I had done PhD. And then after PhD, then I got a prestigious Fulbright Nehru Postdoctoral Fellowship from the US Department of State. So I was there for about 1 year on Fulbright Fellowship at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, USA. And mainly that area that I am working is, I am working on designing some material, and that material can be used for disposal of high level radioactive waste that is coming from the nuclear. So that is my area of the interest. And then during that time, in this duration, I was visited many countries for academic purpose. And I was also advisor to International Atomic Energy, IAEA, in one project. And in addition to, I am also involved in some other scientific society, like I was the member of executive committee for Indian
number duje phone there.
And joint secretary for IPA. And I'm presently also a member of prestigious National Academy of Sciences, India. And in my scientific career, I have published more than 150 peer-reviewed articles in reputed international journal. So that is my profile. So I can say like that I have experience of industry as an engineer, then in scientific lab, and presently in 2020 I shifted to Jawaharlal Nehru University as an associate professor in physics. So now I am in academia. And most important thing is that you know that JNU is next to IIT Delhi. So I can spend a lot of time because we are nearby institute. And another thing is that point is raised by Mr. Sudeep ji, like depression and all these things. So you know that in JNU we have we are very famous for social science. So we can start some program like that, how we can address this problem. Because you know that in IIT, best brain is coming, and parents, they have a lot of expectation from the student. Although there is some workload is there, academic load is there, and that's supposed to be there because we want to produce the best brain, want to give the best training at IIT. So if we can start some program like we can collaborate with the JNU like that, and then we can start some program, and in that program, like for counseling session or like that. So that problem, if we can rectify it. So that is my one area I think that I can contribute it. And second thing is that I am thinking about our women alumni. So you know that these girls, they are doing really hard work, particularly in our Indian society, because they also need to work in the office, and at the same time,
Excuse me, Sudeep ji, can you hear us? Hello, Sudeep ji.
Yes, yes.
Kindly be on mute. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, Brother Kulia. Please go ahead. Professor Kulia, you're on mute now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I was discussing about this women empowerment. So for example, like you know that just after marriage or like in early age, these women need to balance between work and office. And sometimes they take the career gap, means like they can for 1 year or 2 years. And after that, when they are re-entering, at that time, they are facing some difficulties. So we have very strong alumni network is there. So if we can start some program like that, so that these girls can easily get the job through alumni association, if we can start that program, because we know that these are the bright student, and then they can work for our country. Then another area that if we can start is that is for young alumni, like if we can create some center like that, so that if young alumni want to start some startup, so in that case, if IIT Delhi alumni can be a mediator between these young alumni or like that. Then last is I have visited the website of IIT Delhi alumni. So we are giving some award is being given to the senior people for recognize their contribution. But with time, that number of alumni is increasing. So day by day. So I think if we can start new award to recognize the contribution, because most of the candidate that is passing from IITs, they are bright candidate, and everyone is doing excel. So like some award, like if you can recognize that award can be based on the some hostel or like that. So that type of. Another point that I want to raise is that number of participants that you can see. Right now we have 23 participants. So that way, if we can activate our chapters, and from that chapter, if we can increase the number, because we need to create some program like a local chapter like that, so we can create more awareness. Okay, so with that, I will stop it here, and I am thank you very much to all the ex-EC member, present EC member, because you people are doing really good, and I appreciate your effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kulria. I think a couple of points which you raised are sincerely appreciated, valid also, I must say. And association is working at many of those issues, and I'm sure over a period of time we will gain some momentum and try to improve the situation. Thank you once again. Yes, Rajiv, you wish to ask a question to Professor Kulria. Go ahead.
Good evening, Professor Kulria. Well spoken, as Kalpin said. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
please.
for taking out time. I have just one question. Besides the earlier question which I asked Mr. Sudeep Rikhi, in terms of transparency, what is your views in terms of sharing the EC meeting webcast or recordings with the alumni? That's one question. Second question is, you are engaged in a professional engagement which probably takes a lot more time than a normal listing. Would you be able to devote time to an EC activity which can be at odd hours at many times? I just wanted your views. Not that I'm trying to doubt, but I'm just trying to get a little more, because you have a regular 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 job. Professor job doesn't end only from 9 to 5. It goes on beyond that also. Sorry for asking that question. Thank you.
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much. Regarding your first question, so definitely transparency should be there, because you know that whatever money that we are getting, so even we are spending a 1 rupees out of that money. So every alumni has right to know where we are spending it. And another thing is that I think most of the time the decision is being made on the basis of consensus or like that. So I don't think there is any harm to live this meeting. But still again, I don't know what is the rule in the bylaws, and because we need to go through with the bylaws, and that I'm sure that there are senior faculty member or they have a framing. So if there is a need to revise that, and if all the EC member with president permission, if they think that if that can be revised, so then that case can be discussed in the EC, and later on I think that case can also be put in AGM. Okay, so we can also take opinion from all the stakeholders, and if everyone is thinking, then why not? Okay, because I am on the basis, if this is my single decision, then it is not right. Means we'll need to take collective decision, and on the basis of that, everyone is agreed, then definitely we can do it. Right. Next to your question is like how I can get the time. So you know that in IIT we have taken a very good training. So just before the exam, so we studied very hard or like that, and you know that if you can see my profile like that. So as my father always say like that, कि अगर हम हार्ड वर्क करेंगे तो उससे शरीर अच्छा ही बनता है. That is my concept. So that way I usually spend 15 to 16 hours. That is my time schedule, and means if it is matter of priorities, if you want to give priority to the IIT Alumni Association, then definitely you get the time. If you don't want to give the priority, then you will not get the time. So that way, and another thing is I am next to IIT, so I can easily attend all the meeting and whatever local issues are there, so that we can address it.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
In that matter, I will not disappoint you people, because I am already member of Executive Council of Indian Physics Association, and there we have done a lot of good work. And in addition to that, I am also associated with one NGO, that is Seva Bharti, And there I am in charge of this Vasantpur area, and there we have one computer center that is running. There are 20 computers are there. In addition to that, there was school is there. So from last 10 years, I am associated with that organization also. So that way we can definitely we can manage some time. It is just a matter of the management.
Thanks, Brother Kudriya. In fact, you said it for everybody. It is a matter of time. Everyone has 24 hours in life. It is what we make out of those 24 hours and where we allocate that time. Thank you very much. We have one more question from Pankaj Kapadia. Pankaj, you want to ask something? Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, Professor Pawan, for participating in the election. However, I would like to know your point of view that since there are many people, let us assume in the executive committee also, if you'll become a part of it. And of course, since there are many people, there will be difference of opinions as well. So my point of view is, if there is a difference of opinion amongst the EC members, how do you feel that we should go about? I mean, should we take the decision of the majority of EC members, or should we go unilaterally as per your views, or with somebody else's views? That is my question, that how do you cater the issue of having different opinions in the EC?
So in that case, my opinion is that if any issue in that one, that is good for the IIT Delhi or alumni. Okay, in that issue, if that is the good for the organization, then that issue I will definitely support it. Okay, whether people
actually,
like
Dr.
it.
Dr. Pawan, you probably missed the gist
because
of my
we are
question.
working for the IIT Delhi. We are
Pankaj, I have a small request. I think the procedural part of how executive committee functions, I think we all shall leave it outside, because most of them would not be aware of how EC functions. Maybe we can ask them about their ideas, how they would respond or how they would interpret that situation. But maybe specifics we can avoid. I mean, that's a request to everybody who wants to ask questions to contestants. Please go ahead.
Sir, actually, there is honestly, I just want to know. See, because when there are two individuals, let's say you and me, you may have an opinion and I may have an opinion. My question is very specific. If everybody converges, there is no issue. But if there is a difference of opinion, I mean, what is the take of Professor Pawan on this? Because how do we take a decision? That is my question too. That I just want to know his opinion, nothing else.
When he will be part of EC, then he will understand the situation and he can answer, I think.
Dr. Srivastava, I have asked a question to
let Brother Pawan
let the contestant answer, right?
Yeah, Pankaj, yes. So actually I was disconnected. So can you repeat it again? Because whatever discussion is there.
Yeah, Dr. Pawan, I just wanted to ask you a very specific question. Like, let's say there are 10 members, right? And people may have different opinions. Now, my question is, as you said, we should take the decisions in the interest of IITDA. That is true. In fact, everybody who expresses their opinion, he or she feels that his opinion is in the best interest of IITDA. Now, if at all we have a difference of opinion, how do you cater? How do you plan to resolve this? I mean, if there is an amicable solution, nothing like it. But if at all there is some kind of issue that you and me, let us assume we do not agree. How do we resolve this? That's the question. How we take the decision? That's all.
Yeah. So my opinion is like that. If there is specific issue is there, and if that issue is some particular like in technical in nature or like that, so I think in that case we can form some committee or like that, and in that one subject expert can be put it there. Okay, and from there that committee can submit the report, and on the basis of that their expertise again we can discuss in the EC. And I am sure like that if any decision that is in the favor of the IIT Delhi, then definitely, because everyone is going to serve the IIT Delhi alumni, because most of the people that they are part of EC, they are well established in their areas. Okay, so no one have any particular different interest or like that. So in my opinion, like that, if that thing is there, so without taking a decision, without consensus or like that, instead of that, we can form some committee, and then we will try to convince all the members like that. And if still they are not convincing or like that, then president is there, so then that may be decided or like that. But still I will go, if any decision is there, that decision should taken in consensus only, because that is the best. If we will not take any decision in consensus, then there will be two groups will be there, and every time we will face the problem.
This is
So
very
in your
good.
opinion, the president should decide.
What do you mean?
No,
president
no,
should-
no, no. Pankaj,
No, no,
that would
I
be
think- I
unfair.
think- I think-
That would
I
be
don't think
slightly
this
unfair.
kind of question
I
should
think
be
Dr.
asked.
Pavan, Dr. Pavan, I would like to ask one thing.
Yeah,
What
please.
Mr. Pankaj is saying, that if there is no consensus and we are like 10 members there, so shall we go by the majority or not?
No.
That means first thing is that that I'm telling, because in every decision is taken, first thing is that we try to make the consensus. Then we can give some time.
But if there is no consensus and it
No,
is
if
a deadlock,
whatever like
if
that,
there is no
like
consensus
that, if
and there
that
is a
matter is there,
deadlock,
then what we will do is like that, we will give some time. Because if we will give the
Sanjay ji,
time,
let
that
Okay,
matter
Dr.
can be
Pankaj
deferred.
is-
easy.
Dr.
That matter
Pankaj,
can be
even after
deferred
that,
of that meeting.
Dr. Pankaj,
In next meeting,
Dr.
we can take some technical feedback from the committee or like that, and then
No.
again we can discuss it.
no, Dr. Pankaj, if after
And
all
then
the things you have done,
another thing is that
After-
I don't know. This is the hypothetical question. Means
No,
what
no.
is like that?
Dr. Pankaj, please listen to me.
Yeah.
What he is trying to say, that if even after trying 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 3 meetings, and there is no consensus, so shall we go by the majority or keep a deadlock?
Yeah, then definitely if that decision is in the favor of the IIT Delhi, then definitely we go with the majority.
Okay, I think
That-
I think
that
let
we
me
are telling you,
let me just
We be-
intervene here. Professor Kulriya, I think it's a democratic setup. End of the day, we have to take a decision, and we will
Yeah.
take a decision. Executive committee is empowered to take
Yeah,
decisions,
yes.
and therefore, hopefully, should you be lucky enough or deserving enough to come into the EC, I'm sure you will see what exactly happens on the other side. I wish to thank you. I wish to thank you for your suggestions. In fact, you described the process pretty right, that we also follow something similar. But having said this, it's a slightly operational kind of situation that we would not like to drag you into, or any contestant for that matter, into that.
Yeah,
And we
thank
also want to save time. So thanks, Sanjay. Thanks, Pankaj. Sumer and Sanjeev, I think you can reserve your question for the next contestant of your choice. I think we'll close the session for Professor Kulriya.
You are not giving chance to us to
No,
ask any question.
No,
to
no.
Pawan.
I think we have gone till 25 minutes plus, and therefore let's give chance to other contestants also.
No, simple one question I wanted to ask Pawan.
Please go ahead quickly. Last one.
Yeah, please.
If you'll allow me.
Please go ahead. Be quick. Be quick.
Okay. So Pawan, you live near, as you told, you live just next gate to IIT Delhi. I just want to know how many event of alumni or any such event which IIT Delhi conduct, you go through that. That is one question. And second question, it is related to Pankaj only. If there is no consensus, 21 people are there, suppose in the EC, do you think all 21 should not be agreed to one point? Because if you can, if that depends on the leadership. If leader cannot convince all 21, then he cannot convince all 56,000 people. So do you think that is the lack of leadership, or somewhere we should improve there, so that everyone will be on one platform?
Okay. Thanks, Sanjeev. You have asked your question. Professor Kulriya, if you have any quick remark, please go ahead.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. Is like, first we will try to make the consensus. But if that important issue is there and still committee is not able to make the consensus, then what we will do it? Because we cannot hold that decision. For example, like any issue that is very critical for the IIT, progress of the IIT. So we can defer like for 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, like definitely. But still it is not being resolved.
Of course, if it is for the IIT, everyone will be, I think, have the consensus.
Okay,
But if
I
it is
think-
somewhere,
I think
it will be harming someone, then I think
Sanjeev, I think we are going around in circles. I think we are addressing the same question and
first question,
in a similar manner.
you have not answered.
No, hold on. Now, I think we are at 6:47. We have 3 more contestants who need to express their thoughts, and they must get a fair opportunity. So, thank you very much, Professor Kulriya. Sanjeev, you need to be on mute now.
Sure, sure.
I invite Dr. Yadav. Dr. Yadav, please express yourself. Thank you.
Good evening to the President, President-elect, all the distinguished contestants, EC members, and all alumni who have been connected. I am Dr. H.R.P. Yadav. I did my Master of Technology from Center for Energy Studies, IIT Delhi, in 2005. Before that, I graduated in chemical engineering from the reputed VIT Sindri in 1988. And quickly, I joined IIT Delhi as SRA at that time in 1988 in the Department of Rural Development and Appropriate Technology, in the research project sponsored by the then Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources. Now it is Ministry of New Renewable Energy. I worked here 3.5 years. Being young chemical engineer, I was trying here and there and got a Group A level job in the Institution of Engineers India. And I joined Headquarter Institution of Engineers India at Calcutta as technical officer. I remained there 7 years and again got opportunity to come back to Delhi office of the Institution of Engineers India as deputy director. And then I had curiosity to do MTech, and which I did after coming from Calcutta. And then again, I had curiosity to do a doctorate, and I did my doctorate in environmental engineering from the premier Central University, Jamia Millia Islamia. Although my guide in MTech was telling me to do registration with IIT, but somehow I couldn't. So this is my academic background. I worked with the institution for over 30 years in various capacities. Finally, I could achieve the level of Secretary and Director General, that is Chief Executive Officer. And by virtue of that position, I was Chief Editor of Springer journals of 15 engineering disciplines, and I had varied experience and exposure to deal with the technical education system, engineering education, and having connect with the policy makers like technocrats, bureaucrats, industry experts, R&D experts, and academic institutions heads, even director IIT, due to my official capacity. So during the stint of Institution of Engineers, I had opportunity to interact with the engineers spread over globally, rather in the country as well as in the different parts of the country, because this institution has got 5 overseas chapters, almost they are located in Middle East. We are also member, Institution of Engineers India is also member of the 90 member countries that is known as World Federation Engineering Organization located at Paris, France. So this is the basic background which I had, and now I come to the main point why the Alumni Association is created. Nowadays, every alma mater is having Alumni Association. The purpose of Alumni Association is to bring together the former students or alumnus with the alma mater and with the graduates of that academic institutions or alma mater. How it is possible? That is not that easy. So it's a Herculean task. I think all of present here, President, President-elect, and esteemed members, they have already got experience these challenges and Herculean tasks. So if I have been connected with this IIT Delhi Alumni Association, participating in most of the activities, but due to my official commitment 24/7, I couldn't contest in the elections so far. Of course, I had opportunity to become the president of my graduate level alma mater, VIT Sindri Alumni Association Delhi chapter for the session 20 to 22. Before that, I was vice president also. So I have quite experience about the executive committee's mandate. The question has been raised. Such type of question I also faced during my presidential period. And I also sorted out with the voting of the executive committee member, 2/3 majority. And first I observed that whether the question is conforming to the constitution and guidelines of the Alumni Association. If that questions really confirms to the guideline, constitution, bylaws, only then that question can be accepted for the consensus or for the decision making by the EC. So similarly, I would like to focus, if I get opportunity, to mobilize the resources of the IIT Delhi Alumni Association to strengthen its membership, although I know that the IIT Delhi has got sufficient and adequate membership, but there is no end of this. So I would like to put my connect with the Institution of Engineers corporate members to here also, because they all are engineers. And then second, I will put thrust due to my contact with the industry, government organizations, bureaucrats, that the event of this alumni association must be addressed by the eminent speakers, policymakers, which must be in respect of the global challenge and national issues like climate change, environmental action plan, this air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, sustainable development goals 17 Gs, women empowerment, etc., etc. These all are possible only when there will be a good connect. There should be rigorous and regular efforts by the member of the executive committee like me. So these all are salient points which I need to take if I get the opportunity. Next point is that it is also paramount importance that the visibility of IIT Delhi Alumni Association, and this visibility can also be improved, although IIT Delhi has got adequate visibility worldwide. But again, I would like to say there is no end of that. This must be, every day should be a progress on this also. So with the vast network with Institution of Engineers India, and I have personal rapport with all of them, and I will utilize the international engineering organizations also to improve the visibility of this premier alumni association. So these are the basic one. Our esteemed member has raised the question about the transparency of finance, which is also important. Finance is the backbone of any organization. Without it, we can't move even by an inch. So this transparency can be maintained by the laid down procedure, audited account by the competent charter accountant, etc. These are quite conventional thoughts, but once I get opportunity, I'll put some of the modern thoughts also with the consent of the esteemed EC members. So these are the basic ideas which I would like to implement with the support of the President and Vice Secretary and all EC members. So, and other area I would like to touch that whenever we conduct the events, we must gather or attract adequate number of participants, must be alumni, including alumna or lady alumni of the IIT Delhi also. And we should fetch the speakers who are our alumni preferably and must be well placed across the world. So this will certainly improve the visibility, mobilization of resources, funds, and already execution of the bylaws and constitutions, and of course, must sign some MOUs with PSUs. Many juniors of my engineering colleges, they are now CMDs of the leading Maharatna public sector undertakings. I would like to connect with them for the funds also, for the connect also, for the membership also. So these all will certainly give the opportunity to uplift and enhance the endeavors of IIT Delhi Alumni Association. With these, I take the opportunity to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Yadav. Well spoken from a man who has seen it, done it, and many interesting thoughts from your own experience of managing the Alumni Association. Yes, of course, there is a lot to learn from people like you. And I must say that whether you're part of EC or you're not part of EC, please remain associated and try to contribute.
Thank you, sir.
I just leave the floor open. Does anybody have any question for Dr. Yadav?
Just I will comment on that. He has covered almost everything what is needed for our association. Thank you, and all the best for your efforts.
Thank
Good,
you very much,
good.
sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjeev. Yes, Rajiv, you want to ask question?
I second that. Kalpen and Sanjeev have said the same thing. Dr. Yadav, you've spoken everything what needs to be done. What I liked about is bringing the industry connect to IIT, and because we are an engineering institute
Yes.
primarily, and getting that engineering connect is very important. Getting innovation and speakerships, getting sponsorships, excellent ideas. Really, as Kalpen said, I and I well connected is very important. And Kalpen used, I say the same words what Kalpen said. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Dr. Yadav, I think all the best to you. I think very well spoken. And the same thing which Kalpin said, please be connected.
For curiosity, you live near IIT Delhi or you live in some other
Very
state?
near, sir. Whenever I was in Delhi, sir, I always remained in South Delhi, at least 10 kilometers apart from IIT Delhi. And I have very much a big fascination to visit IIT Delhi whenever I come across Sarojini Nagar, any
I'm
part.
just thinking where you were there for last 2 years. We are in EC for 2 years. We could not see you.
Sir,
No.
I told you in the beginning,
Maybe
I was Secretary
you-
and
you-
Director General,
So-
and headquarters is at Calcutta, sir. That is my fortunate.
So Sanjeev, I have met Dr. Yadav earlier. He has
Okay.
visited our alumni association
that's why I'm
office and
asking.
had a pretty long discussions with him earlier.
It-
Thank you,
so
Dr.
it-
Yadav.
Thank you very
Since nobody wants to ask any questions, we
No.
can.
I will
We can
say
leave
it's
you.
our president fault he has not told about you.
Thank you, sir.
So
It's
But in
good, sir,
fact,
because.
I also did my master degree from energy studies only.
Okay, very good, sir. So our
2004.
president is today, sir, returning officer also. So
Yes.
he is doing his duty in a very judicious manner. We must thank and compliment to him.
thank you,
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Yadav.
was-
So nice of
I
you.
was there in 2004 actually.
Thanks,
So I
Dr.
think
Yadav.
We have seen some time.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
Sanjeev, I think we'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Yadav. I think
Thank
it
you
is
very much.
progressing very smoothly.
Thank you,
We have the next contestant, Mr. Shubhendu Mandal. I'm not sure under which name he has logged in, if he has indeed logged in, but Shubhendu, are you there? Hello? Shubhendu? Okay, I believe Shubhendu has not joined, and therefore we will move over to the next contestant. I see Kishan already there on the screen. So Kishan, your turn to go ahead. Please, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank present EC committee and the president, who is doing wonderful in the alumni association. Earlier, we were not aware with the activities of alumni. Now we are in touch with alumni and we are getting a lot of activities also. So they must be appreciated and they have done a very good job. Now I introduce myself. I did BTech in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi in 2007 pass out to 2003 entry batch. So I lived in Shivalik hostel. That was very near to that time with the IIT campus, in the campus itself, but near to main building. So we did a lot of things there in the IIT Delhi. So still I remember very fondly that we did enjoyed that times. Then in 2008, I got selected in railways through UPSC and I joined as an IAS officer in government job. So in railways, I have worked in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Rajasthan. Presently, I am in Jaipur. So I have done many major projects in railways, sir. So that gives me a lot of learning, lots of connectivity network with the other people. So earlier I was not done many things in the ITD Alumni Association, but I have very close bonding with many of the seniors and juniors from various batches. So I organized more than 5 and 6 times reunions of my close groups or close friends from various batches of various departments and various hostels. So that is also in Corona time we stopped that, but right now we are also planning some reunions. So that also gives me an opportunity to interact with the alumni of the IIT Delhi and also giving the understanding of the present scenario of the IIT. I am also in touch with some of the EC members right now also. So they are also quite helpful and they are spreading the information about the alumni. So presently, I am sports secretary of Northwestern Railway in Jaipur division. That is also giving me an opportunity how to deal with the organizations and associations and how to be participative and the networking, increasing the networking. So my goal or motto with the alumni association will be to increase the networking. Nowadays, yeah, right now in YouTube channel of IT alumni, only 350 subscribers are there. So I think they are not getting what is being discussed in the alumni association, yeah, EC committee, yeah. What is the view of alumni, yeah, EC committee? So that has to be increased. Or the activities of alumni association must be shared with everyone. Means everybody should get in touch with the alumni. So whenever we need any assistance or anything from the alumni, that should be the part of this alumni association. And I was awarded at the national level from the railway minister for the outstanding works. So my vision for alumni association will be vision 2030 for the association. What does that means? Means when someone passing out alumni should understand the vision of the association so that they can contribute in a better way. Presently, the passing out students are not getting that much attention or that much association with the alumni. So they even don't know about the alumni, whether there is any existence of the alumni association. If we have the vision 230 for the association, then they will be in touch and they will be told very well in the beginning itself, in the passing year, yeah, at the time of degree only, they should be the part of this alumni association and what will be their role in the association. That vision 230 will cover that part. So that is very important in my view. So first of all, networking is a must that can be achieved through various sports events. In reunions which I have organized, the basic thing is one sports activity, and then after the discussion of networking discussion, yeah, networking lunch. So that was the theme basically. So in sports meets, you get in touch and you discuss formally, informally in many ways. So that gives you the very good bonding between the alumni. So, and other part will be the fundraising for the alumni. And I'm working in government, so I know the working of government that will be helpful in various startups. So right now, many startups are growing and they need initial assistance from government and various agents. So I can contribute in that. And that is from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Kishan. I think you have touched upon an issue which is unattended, I may say, Vision 2030. I wish that it is completed by the next executive committee. Thanks for all those good ideas. Are there any queries? Rajiv, your hand goes up. Please go ahead.
I think Sanjay raised his hand first. I don't want to monopolize. Let Sanjay do it first. I'll do it after that.
I give you priority.
No, Sanjay.
Rajiv, you go ahead first. Yeah, come on. I will come later.
He is
okay,
president in waiting, so let him wait for a couple of minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjay, and thank you, Kalpen. Kishan, I mean, since you're a junior, so I can address you by the first name. I hope you don't mind that. You talked about, yeah. So you talked about raising, money for startups. What experience have you had? How much money have you raised? What startups have you raised money for till now? I mean, I'm just trying to see because most of us come with ideas, but I'm just trying to see how much can we take it to fruition. So aapka agar koi, if you have raised, let's say X million dollars or X, $100,000 for so many startups, how many startups have you raised money for? How much are you mentoring personally?
Yes, sir. Exactly. I am working in the railway, sir, in government sector, purely government sector. And there we don't need a startup or raising money, sir. We are government supported organization. So I have not launched any program for fundraising or have not tried even. So that is not not in my actually expertise. But my thing is that with the networking and with the help of government, many startup can be supported. The government can mean support a startup in many ways by by some discounts, by some schemes, and in other ways also. So the means mentioning the exact amount, I don't think that is I can tell you.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. So it's okay, thanks.
No, that's okay, Kishan. We can understand that you are in a slightly different space. But that was a
Sir.
curiosity question that since you have shown your interest in working in that
Sir,
space,
sir.
and it's any experience would have been helpful. Yeah, Sanjay,
Sir.
please go ahead.
Kishan, I think you raised one point for the networking, and you say you were surprised to note that there were only 350 subscribers of our YouTube channel. Like
Yes,
you said
yes,
that.
sir.
So how do you, what do you wish to do to improve this? What are your plans to improve that
Yes, sir.
networking? Like,
Exactly, sir. Sir, we have many various groups of the alumni associations like Rajasthan chapter, Mumbai chapters, and IIT alumni association, and various batches groups like 2003 entry batch groups, WhatsApp groups. So there are so many groups on the WhatsApp. So we can ask them to join or to subscribe our YouTube channel, and we can ask them to join this alumni association link. So that is my vision for this.
Okay.
yeah, that's all. Like you go to the batches and like say that subscribe that. That's all you want
Yes.
to do. Any other thing you want to do for that?
In various networking events like meetings and some seminars, or in that also we can give link, or we can give some we can ask in that discussions ki we have to subscribe or we need to subscribe, because we will be in touch with the association by that mean of connectivity.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Kishan.
Yes, Sumir, you want to ask something? Hello.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
see, I don't want to ask anything, but I came to know that Kishan has organized. He's a very good networker, and he has organized few events at Jaipur, some cricketing events, and I happens to be there in year 2019, and it was a big event, almost 500 to 600. I think IIT Delhi alumni attended that event. So I
Okay.
think that.
Okay. So
Sir,
you are saying what ideally Kishan should have said.
Sir, in 2000 year we started this
Yes,
reunion in 2014, sir. So that was a very wonderful event and successful event, sir. We get to connect with many of the. Right now we are in touch with those many alumni, sir.
So as I can see, Kishan, you have come with supporters in the group. Huh?
So
Sahi
Sumer
pakde,
is candidate or
Good. Okay. No, that was in lighter vein. Since
No,
Sumer
Sumer is
appreciated your
candidate also?
effort.
Sumer is
I am
candidate
sir.
also?
everyone in this easy. In fact, Kalpen, I know you. Malhotra ji hai.
Yes.
I know each one of you, and I have been in regular touch with Satish Chauhan. And since I passed out in 1995, I am a regular visitor to the IIT Delhi.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So good. Any more questions for Kishan? Sanjay, your hand is still up. Sumer, your hand is still up. But I hope your questions are already addressed. It is just a general remark for everybody. I mean, before we close the session. See, one is of course always welcome to be part of the executive committee, because it's a decision-making body. And therefore, each one who comes to the executive committee has to come with a sense of responsibility that he or she is going to be part of a body which is going to take decision on behalf of 58,000 alumni. Somewhere we heard that every decision should be oriented towards doing something right for the alumni, doing something right for the student, doing something right for the institute. And that's a very welcome attitude. And as long as we all come together with that attitude, sense of belongingness, some sense of emotional commitment, I think whether you're part of the EC, whether you make it as an EC member or not, I'm sure you will have ample scope and opportunity to contribute towards the activities of the association. It is always I mean, it feels very good to be part of EC, but even if you're not part of the EC, kindly don't feel disheartened. You have all good ideas, experience, exposure to having worked for the societies and associations. Please give the benefit to our association also. It is indeed doing well. It is on a pretty good positive trajectory. You will certainly enjoy being part of it. But before I close, I wish all of you all the very best. Let this be a fair contest. Kindly avoid any kind of spamming or anything. Normally, alumni do not appreciate that. So please be aware of that. I'm just trying to lay down a few good guidelines which will help you, and it will help the alumni also. So somewhere we are all working in a very healthy environment, and let's try to ensure that this healthy atmosphere remains pre-election as well as post-election, and whoever makes it is very welcome. Whoever doesn't make it is even more welcome, because your enthusiasm will be more appreciated, that you wish to come and continue working for the association. Anybody else wants to say anything? Sanjay, you would like to say anything? They are going to work with you, whoever makes it. Sanjay, are you there? Hello? Hello?
चले गए लगता है.
Sanjay ji,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, I'm there. Yeah,
if you wish to
I'm
say
here.
something, please go ahead.
But best of luck to everyone, and whoever makes it is welcome, and we shall work in close coordination, respect each other, and work for the betterment of IITD Alumni Association. Best of luck to everyone. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Sanjay. Well said. With this, we close this session, the first soapbox session for the senior most first 6 candidates. And tomorrow we shall have the next 6 candidates. We would love to hear the younger generation now, and thereafter we'll hear the youngest of the lot. So with this, I close this session.
I have one comment just.
Yeah.
If you will allow again.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I heard, I started hearing from, I think, I don't know, I have missed anyone. I started hearing from Sudeep ji se start kiya. So I found everyone is well competent and everything is there. And I think even they come or not, they should be associated with the association and they should support us. Whoever is there in or out should work in a cohesive manner. And ultimately number works. So these people have to run for those numbers from today onwards. So I'm saying all the best to everyone, and I'm hoping all the best 7 candidates will come to EC. Thank you.
Yeah, that's always the expectation, and that expectation is from a very intelligent audience. They are all IITians who are going to vote. I'm sure they're going to use their discretion and they're going to choose the better of the lot. But that doesn't mean that those who are left out are not as good. They are equally good, and therefore there is no reason for anybody to feel disheartened. It is a democratic process. We all go through it. We have to choose a few, and therefore probably many others may not get an opportunity, but that's just a part of life and part of game. All are welcome. I repeat, all are welcome. And therefore anyone who has any interest in ideas, please do not hesitate to walk into the Alumni Association office. You will be received and your ideas also will be heard, and whatever we can do in terms of pursuing those ideas, we'll be more than willing to do that. Thank you very much, all of you. Thanks everyone. Sanjay,
all are invited to AGM.
I think that's a good idea. Sorry, I should have allowed that. Yes, please join for the AGM, 29th April. We are holding our AGM. We shall have a cultural program, and therefore I'm sure you'll have another opportunity to interact with the alumni on the campus. I'm sure you will enjoy it with your family, friends, everyone. Please join us. All of you, thank you very much.
Join tomorrow also.
Wonderful session.
Tomorrow also, and
tomorrow also, please join. As Sanjay rightly said. Yes. So tomorrow 6 p.m. we have a second soapbox session.
कल तो तैयारी करेंगे ना, अब तो वोटिंग की तैयारी भी तो करनी है.
कोई बात नहीं.
अरे इन लोगों को.
Okay, guys, we are live and we are being recorded. We can do it afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks a lot. All the very best to everyone. And we see you tomorrow once again at 6 p.m. for the soapbox number 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.